Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
2 women, 2 surgeries, 2 families who thought they were about to get a glow up, but instead got a phone call. In 2026, a Nigerian influencer went in for a BBL and never came out.
The death of Nigerian socialite Elena Jessica following a cosmetic surgery caused a lot of buzz across the internet. The young influencer allegedly underwent surgery for a Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, for the second time, but she did not make it out alive.
Another woman went in for a mommy makeover, and her husband had to go online and tell the world that she was brain dead.
She was without oxygen for over 6 minutes, supposedly. I don't know how that happens when you've got a crew that was supposed to be taking care of her. Was told last night that she's brain dead.
And the scariest part is, none of this is new. Because long before Instagram, long before social media, and long before BBL culture, we were already being programmed. Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. Welcome to another mini deep dive. So make sure you guys have your teacups ready because this tea is what? Piping hot. So if you guys do not know, today we got to have a real conversation, honey. A real one about what is going on in the plastic surgery world. Because in the month of March, we've lost not 1, but 2 influencers from cosmetic surgery. One of them was a Nigerian influencer named Elena Jessica, who walked into a clinic in Lagos for a BBL and died on March 8th.
A heated debate has erupted across Nigerian social media following the reported death of a young woman after complications from her second BBL surgery. The incident has reignited conversations about the dangers of cosmetic procedures and the growing pressure on women to meet certain beauty standards.
The other was a 47-year-old Ohio woman. Her name was Rachel Tussey. She documented her tummy tuck journey to her 80,000 TikTok followers. Her husband had to go online and tell the whole world that she was brain dead while recovering from her mommy makeover. And these 2 stories hit the internet around the same time, so it had everybody in 2 different continents basically going crazy once they heard the story about these 2 women. But here's what I want y'all to realize. None of this is new and none of it is random. We were being programmed long before social media was ever a thing, and I'm going to go ahead and break it all down to y'all. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and explain to you guys who these 2 women were. Elena Jessica Mpara, known as Elena or Elena Doll, was a Nigerian socialite and influencer in Lagos. And on February 6, 2026, she underwent a second round BBL procedure at Sinshore Aesthetic Plastic Surgery Hospital in Lagos. 2 days after the procedure, she began experiencing severe pain, fever, heavy swelling in the area where the fat had been transferred. Her white blood cell count came back extremely elevated, which doctors told her family meant she was dealing with a serious infection and needed multiple blood transfusions because her blood levels were dangerously low. Her family said she was transferred in between hospitals. Her sister, who goes by Nelly on TikTok, addressed the clinic directly, saying, I want to read this exactly because this is what she said. Sinashur has finally killed my sister. My sister went to Sinashur and never came back the same. Now she's gone. All I want is answers. All I want is justice. They can't silence this. Fly high, my sister.
I don't know. Jessica don't need to come out for this one. But I tell this girl, say, go come on down here, see what she do. She said they don't do the second surgery for her already. I talked to Jessica last week. I told her, let me come and meet you in the hospital where she was. Jessica said, Favor, don't worry, she'll be okay. Now people are calling me from the group. Jessica is dead. Jessica, that beautiful girl. And twin sister is calling me. Jessica is dead. Why must she go and do BBL? I told this girl last week, go and remove it. She said they have already done done the second surgery for her. Why must she do this thing? Jessica, that I'm looking up to. Hey!
Elena passed away on March 8th, 2026.
This is crazy. A Nigerian influencer has just passed away after her second BBL surgery. Elena Jessica's case is a reminder that BBL is very risky. Doctors have warned for years that one of the biggest risks is fat embolism, where injected fat enters the bloodstream and travels to the heart or lungs. And here are some other risks. Sadly, several African women have lost their lives because of this, and it's a reminder that our bodies are not trends. No trend should ever come before your health and safety.
And again, this was not her first procedure. This was a revision procedure, a second BBL, and she never recovered from it. The Lagos state government launched a full investigation through their health facilities, known as HEFAMAA, of March 12th of 2026. The agency confirmed that the clinic was registered with them, which is why their statement made specifically that registration does not shield any facility from regulatory scrutiny when a patient's safety concerns are raised. Signature has denied any wrongdoing.
We begin today with this update where Sinoja Aesthetic Plastic Surgery Hospital is responding after backlash over the death of Jessica Elena, the young woman that was linked to a cosmetic procedure at their facility. In a statement posted online, the hospital has said that this disturbing viral video that's circulating online, in which a woman believed to be Jessica Elena is heard screaming during a procedure, was not recorded at their facility. This comes after the hospital earlier confirmed performing reconstructive surgery on her. Sinoja says that it doesn't know where the procedure in the video took place and maintains that it is willing to cooperate with any investigation, while urging sensitivity towards Jessica Elena's grieving family.
The investigation is ongoing, but what makes this situation even more chilling is that at the same time, Signature was also linked to a death of another influencer named Christabel Gabriel back in 2022. Same clinic, two different women, both dead, and they're still operating. And another thing that was really disturbing about this situation, if you guys don't know, Elena's video was floating around, okay? I was able to find the redacted video. I just want you guys to hear her screams. She's literally awake while getting this painful procedure. This is very, very disturbing. So you guys just saw the video. So from what I gathered on Nigerian TikTok, because a lot of people were asking, why is she awake? Why would they do the BBL procedure awake? What happened is this was at the second hospital, because remember her family had transferred her to another hospital because she was sick. Her fever was high. And so the second hospital was basically forced to try and salvage the situation, because when she came in, her body was starting to decay and she was not healing right. So they were trying to get the infection out. So that's what you hear is her screaming in pain and agony and everything else. And her family was recording this. Surgery in Nigeria is risky when you have to have surgery. So to risk a major surgery like that when it's not necessary, a lot of people feel away. And this has been a big discussion on Nigerian social media.
They say I shall go do BBL. In the process of doing the BBL, say she can't follow the ekpai. It's quite unfortunate that now this kind of thing will lead to the buying of somebody. But it don't happen. Now she know what she could go tell her maker. At the end of the day, why do you people really do the BBL? If you ask, you don't sit down ask. All of this now to increase their market value, nothing more. All this BBL, what did they do now to increase their market value? Down to all the Nollywood actresses, where when they see they copy from. And to just pitch themselves so that they'll be seen. Is this desire? Is this greed? Now greed. It's greed, nothing more. It's greed. If I have a bigger nyash, more men will be looking at me. They get all these things done so that they can be seen by politicians. So that they can be more obvious to the footballers, to the musicians. Then they will hide it under socialites, influencers. All of these things now to just cover the main work. A shower. Nothing more. Greed. Somebody told me, some of them don't really have confidence, and some of them are being talked about. There's some men used to talk against them because of their flat bum bum. That's why they went to go and add up. Nah, lie. Plenty women with flat bum bum that they marry, that they get relationship, good relationship. Nah, lie. Nah, greed. They want to be talked about more.
People die from giving birth. People die from that sickness, right? So when somebody dies from it, it's
not die from giving birth. Die from other sicknesses. But why is it that somebody die from cosmetic surgery? We shame them. Shut up your mouth. How do you compare giving birth, bringing a child into this world? Bringing a child into this world to protect the human race. How do you compare it to somebody where waka go talk see wetin God do for them no good enough? You say people die from sicknesses. Sicknesses, can you control your body? Can you control yourself from being sick? You see, say the people where they get cancer today, the people where we say that they get fibroid, you see all those people that decide to won't get them. It's not their decision, it just happened. But you decide that you're taking yourself to the hospital. This man shall not like harm. Doctor, make it bigger. You put your sock away, you just did the vomit shit. What's wrong with you? Comparing people that want to go and do cosmetic surgery to enhance their body to women where they born picking. Are you mad or something? See, they worry you now. This kind of sense when they sleep. How not till they wake up? If you sleep with this kind of sense, you're not meant to even wake up. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Now let me tell you about Rachel Tussey. Rachel was a 47-year-old wife, a mother of 3, and a TikTok creator from Franklin, Ohio, in Warren County. She posted under the handle Midlife Unmuted. She had built a platform around supporting women in their 40s, the real stuff, the midlife experiences, and showing up authentically. In the morning leading up to her surgery, she documented everything.
So I went for my pre-op today. My doctor is Dr. Torque in Cincinnati, and when I tell you this guy is amazing, he is amazing. I see why people come from all over the country, because he has a skill set that is definitely not a Midwest doctor at all. So I'm super impressed with him, and I think that liking your surgeon and trusting your surgeon, I think that makes a big difference in this process, because this is a big operation that I'm getting ready to do. And there's some vulnerability to all of this too. I am going to have to trust people to take care of me, and that's really scary to me, but I'm always the caretaker, so the thought of taking care of people is just, it's a whole different ballgame. But I'm super excited. I got some really great information. My friend, since I was 11 years old, came with me and took notes, and my markup will be the night before, and then I will be his canvas on the 25th. The nurses are incredible. I'm super, super pumped to do this, and I'm only 47, and I think I still have a lot of life to live, and I am so excited to do this for myself. So I'm going to continue to update you guys, because I'm always looking at other people's updates and tips and suggestions. I'm going to get the Juvian, the Arnica tea. I've got a lift recliner. I've got the walker. The fajas. Okay, so I have a ton of fajas. Hold on. This is the Marina. This one's like 150, but I felt like it fit pretty good. And I want an open crotch because I want to be as independent as I possibly can. I know I'm going to need some help, but the zipper kind of makes me a little nervous. So I am looking, I've bought probably 10 of them. I really like Shaper X, and if you want to send me one that has an open crotch, I would absolutely be open to it, because these are amazing. I also have the Yannis, and these are, they're okay too. But the fajas, that's been like the kind of the biggest issue, is trying to find one. So if you recommend a certain one, I would love to hear it. But yeah, I want to share my journey, because I know there are so many women out there just like me that are scouring TikTok, Facebook, and the Facebook groups are kind of scary. But Dr. Torque has a Let's Torque About Plastic Surgery on Facebook, and everybody raves about him. He is phenomenal. If you get a chance, check him out, because he is super great. But yep, that's my update. Yay, I'm on the right path and I'm ready to go.
She asked her followers for advice for women who'd been through a tummy tuck. She shared her nerves, she shared her excitement,
I don't like pain medicine. I don't like pain. Who likes pain? Nobody likes pain. But I'm nervous about the pain. So if you've had this procedure and you want to give me some tips, that would be amazing. I would appreciate that. I've got a good support system. I've got a lot. My husband's going to be with me for the first 5 days. Thank God. And then my girlfriends are all jumping on board. So I am super appreciative of that, because it's not easy for me to humble myself, but I'm going to need help, and I'm going to just thank my people that are stepping up for me, because this is a big deal. But I'm excited. I'm excited for when he takes off the faja and I see my stomach and I see my curves. I'm excited to say, there she is. That's her. I remember her.
And in one video, she said, I'm super pumped to do this. I'm only 47 and I think I have a lot of life to live. I'm so excited to do this for myself. On February 24th of 2026, the day before her surgery, she posted a day in the life video as she was getting ready. And then on February 25th, from a hospital bed, she posted what would become her final video. And she said, here it is, my turn. I feel a big range of emotions, but mostly it's absolute excitement.
Okay, here it is. It's my turn. I feel a big range of emotions, but mostly it is absolutely excitement and gratitude. My husband's here. I've got a great support team, and I'm really looking forward to this next chapter. If you're a praying person, I will absolutely take your prayers. I'm getting closer. They're getting ready to do my IVs, and they're asking all the questions, and I'm starting to get so many incredible messages from you guys. Please pray. I know it's going to be great, and I've waited a really long time for this. I'm in good hands. I know God's got my back, and let's do this.
The procedure was a tummy tuck performed by Dr. Tork at Journey Light Surgery Center in Evandale, Ohio. According to her husband, Jeremy, the surgeon told him after the operation that the surgery went great and Rachel was awake and speaking and recovering well. The surgeon went home, and when Jeremy was in the recovery room with her, he said her face went pale. He said he got down in her ear and yelled her name twice, no answer. A nurse started CPR. The staff called the doctor back. An ambulance was called, and she was taken to Bethesda North Hospital. And the doctors told Jeremy that Rachel had been without oxygen for several minutes, 6 minutes total. She had suffered a permanent brain injury, meaning her brain was deprived of oxygen long enough that the damage was not reversible. Jeremy posted a video on Rachel's TikTok account on March 3rd, and he showed the camera the machines, he showed the tubes, and he said with everything that he had in him, somebody dropped the ball and killed my wife. And on March 5th, he made what he called an unimaginable, heartbreaking decision to remove her from life support. She was taken to a hospice facility closer to their home and surrounded by her family.
Hello all. I know y'all know that Rachel went into surgery Wednesday morning. We got there at 6 o'clock. They rolled her back for surgery at 7:30. I sat out in the parking lot all day waiting on her to finish, and I got a phone call about 5:45 that I could come in to the recovery room. On my way in, I stopped and spoke with the doctor for a few minutes. He assured me the surgery went great, so he was heading home. Well, as he left, I could hear Rachel talking in the background, asking for me. So I went to the room. Well, on my way to the room, I noticed there was nobody else in the facility. It was locked down. It was closed. There was a cleaning crew of, I think, 2 people sweeping the hallway. And when I stepped in the room, there was one nurse in there with Rachel. And then there was another nurse that had stepped in, but she was going back and forth throughout in and out of the door. So anyway, Rachel could hear me talk, so she heard my voice. I stepped around to the side of the bed and touched her arm, and she knew it was me touching her. Well, next thing you know, the one girl that was outside the room walked in and asked her, said, how's your pain? Rachel kind of mumbled. Well, the girl said, oh, I was just checking because a few minutes ago I gave you your pain med, which was 0.5 Dilaudid and 150 fentanyl. Well, me and the other nurse is talking, because Rachel had told them when she met me at what age, so just we're bullshitting. Well, as we're doing that, next thing you know, I look down and her face is off color, white. I assumed it was from the surgery, you know, lack of blood. But anyway, I said, Rachel, and she didn't answer. Well, the one nurse in the room said, Rachel, no answer. I got down in her ear and hollered Rachel a couple times, no answer. Next thing you know, the nurse starts with the knuckles to the sternum. But it was kind of weird to me because it didn't seem like much sense of urgency with her lips being blue. Then she reached and grabbed the bag. Well, she put the bag on her and pumped it once or twice. The bag wasn't sealed around her face. And then she walked away and grabbed some Narcan, came back, hit her with Narcan, put the mask back on her face again, and this time opened her mouth and pumped 2 or 3 times, and then walked away again as her head rolled over. So the next time she come back, I jumped around there and held Rachel's head up so that she could get it sealed and pumped once or twice. As I'm telling her, you know, I don't know what to do here. This is your all's, you know, trade. I'm just a dumb construction worker. But I could tell something was wrong, but there was no sense of urgency. The other girl she had hollered at that was in the hallway, she had told her to call Dr. Tork and get him back here. Well, as Dr. Tork was on his way back, there was no response from the Narcan. When Tork came in, or when the plastic surgeon came in, he assessed the situation and made sure told him to call 911. And the nurse hit Rachel with another dose of Narcan with it not doing anything. So, ambulance rushed, picked us up at the surgery center, brought us to Bethesda North, and this is what we're looking at. She was without oxygen for over 6 minutes, supposedly. I don't know how that happens when you've got a crew that was supposed to be taking care of her. Was told last night that she's brain dead. I've got a couple days to make a decision. To me, it looks like incompetence. If the doctor would have been there, this wouldn't have happened, or if we'd have been at a hospital, it wouldn't have happened. She was administered too much medicine, 0.5 Dilaudid on top of 150 fentanyl is way too much for somebody that is so minute amount, that is so sensitive to drugs. Somebody dropped the ball here. But I will tell you one thing, where they brought us, these people are absolutely freaking amazing. They have been amazing with my wife, but it still doesn't change the fact that somebody dropped the ball and killed my wife. By the way, I'm still out all the money for the surgery.
On March 17, 2026, 6 days from recording the initial video, Rachel Tussey passed away. She is survived by Jeremy and her 3 children.
Questions are being raised after a Warren County mom died following a makeover performed in Cincinnati. Rachel Tussey of Franklin had plastic surgery that ended in tragedy. The mother of 3 and TikTok creator shared her life online under the username Midlife Unmuted. She posted about feeling both excited and nervous ahead of the surgery, asking followers for prayers. According to her family's attorney, Tussey suffered a catastrophic medical emergency after the procedure at the Lovelyti Surgery Center in Evendale. Now, she experienced a lack of oxygen that caused severe brain damage. She was placed on a ventilator, and on March 5th, her husband made the decision to remove her from life support after doctors determined she had minimal brain activity. Now, Tussey died Tuesday, surrounded by her family.
The family attorney, Bernie Lane, confirmed her death and said the investigation into the full circumstances is ongoing.
Her attorney says an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the surgery is now underway. In a statement, Lovelyti said based on their initial review, the action of their employees were well within appropriate standards of care, and the staff responded timely to her condition.
Dr. Tork said in a statement after her death that this was an unimaginable tragedy, and he hopes in time the full facts will come to light.
The doctor who performed what's known as a mommy makeover on a woman from Franklin is speaking out after her death. Dr. Sherrard Tork says, quote, "This is an unimaginable tragedy," and goes on to say, quote, "I hope that in time the full facts surrounding what happened come to light, bring clarity and some measure of peace to her family."
Lovelyti Surgery Center said in a statement, their employees acted with the appropriate standard of care and responded in a timely manner.
Dr. Tork says, quote, "Her post-operative monitoring was overseen by staff contracted by the independent facility, not by my practice. I was later notified that her condition had unexpectedly changed and immediately returned to assist with her care and transferred to Bethesda North Hospital, where I remained with the family and continued to offer support."
As of March 2026, the cause of death has not been officially determined. An autopsy has been requested. This is still an open investigation. This family is still in the middle of their grief. So both of these stories are very interesting. And what's sad is that Rachel had 80,000 people following her journey. She said she was doing this for herself. She was open about it. She was proud about it, and she was excited. And she had every right to be. She deserved to come home to her children, and so did Elena. The fact that both of these situations happened in the same month in 2026 is not a coincidence of bad luck. It is the result of a culture that has been building around cosmetic surgery for over a decade now. And that culture did not start with Instagram, and it did not start with BBL influencers. It did not start with TikTok. Let me explain to you how exactly it started. It started with daytime television in our living rooms before we were even old enough to understand what we were absorbing in. I want to start with talk shows because I think this piece gets left out of the conversation, and it shouldn't be. Before there was ever the Swan, Extreme Makeover, Dr. 90210, there was Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake. And those TV shows kept showing the reoccurring format that I want y'all to think about. If you guys remember watching it, it was always the same thing. Young women in their early 20s, some in their 30s, would come out on stage with this huge dramatic reveal, and the audience would react. And the message that was embedded in every one of those segments was the same. You looked bad before, you weren't good enough before, but now all the guys want you.
Today on Ricky Lake. Why did you bring him here today?
Show him what he's missing and what he can never touch again.
Showing up your ex by showing off the new you.
This is me, you dumped me, and look at me now.
He won't believe his eyes.
I see.
So you want him to see what he gave up.
Exactly.
You dumped me, but look at me now.
Yes.
I had no figure. I had thick glasses.
They were a little too out there.
When I turned 12, I wore 12. When I turned 13, I was depressed.
And they were way uncool.
I called her a nerd and a geek.
Now they're really swinging.
Look at me now.
What do you want to say to kids who are being bullied right now?
There is hope. What I say is for every caterpillar, there is a butterfly, and this one's flying.
On the next Jenny Jones.
And then in 2002, while I was a young mother, I remember when ABC launched Extreme Makeover. This was a national TV network telling America that full body transformations, including plastic surgery, dental reconstruction, fitness overhauls, and complete physical reinvention of your body were not just possible, but were something that regular people deserve to have access to. Because back then, a lot of plastic surgery was only for celebrities. They were the ones who could afford it because plastic surgery was very expensive in the late 90s and early 2000s.
You're going to be fine. Don't you worry. You'll be okay. It's a good day. This is like, this is like a holiday.
I'm saying goodbye to the extreme subculture look and hello to a cuter me.
And Janine's make underway. First, Dr. Fisher must balance her uneven breasts.
We're going to put a 325cc Smooth Mentor saline round implant.
The fat in her thighs, tummy, and back is lipoed away.
We're taking a significant amount of fat for her.
And the tip of Janine's nose needs an uplift without compromising her Italian pedigree.
Your surgery on her nose is going to be difficult because she has very thick skin and she's had multiple fractures and trauma.
But the real challenge with Janine, her ears.
This is serious surgery, this earlobe surgery. You can see what kind of opening she has here.
The lower lobe's blood supply must be maintained.
And I definitely have to cut out the opening, and then I have to plan a way to suture it back where I still maintain the blood supply.
So by the time shows like Extreme Makeover rolled around, it was a bit more obtainable, quote unquote, to the average citizen. Extreme Makeover ran until 2007 for 4 seasons, and the emotional core of every single episode was the same thing as those talk shows. Pain is worth it if you come out prettier. Sacrifice is worth it if you come out changed. Before you were one thing, but the after is showing the better version of you. The audience cried, they cheered, and they called it beautiful.
All those people that made fun of me.
Micah, from the moment you got here, there's been a group of people that have been in love with you, and we have another surprise for you.
Micah, say hello to your team! Bill, David, Michael, Amanda, Tim!
I'm speechless.
Oh, you've done it. You've done it. I'm so proud of you.
I feel sexy, man.
Hey, yeah! How does sexy feel?
It feels good.
Yeah!
Micah wasn't feeling so sexy 3 months ago. Well, she's come out of hiding. A beauty for all the world to see.
Oh my God!
This is her coming out party.
I put Micah in a black halter dress to show off her sexy new figure. And this pin makes it the perfect exit dress. Perfect period earrings. The shoes are black beaded slingbacks to finish off the look. Okay, Micah, are you ready?
Yes, I am so ready.
And then in 2004, honey, Fox decided to go even further, okay? And when I say far, I mean far. This show was called The Swan. I don't know if some of y'all remember The Swan, but The Swan was insane back then, okay? Which y'all need to understand that The Swan was actually not a makeover show. It was something much darker, especially now when I watch certain episodes with adult eyes, I see how dark this show actually was. On the TV show, The Swan, they called the contestants ugly ducklings. They recruited women across America by running ads at the bottom of their shows, women who were depressed, women who were bullied, women who were struggling.
My dream is to just sing, to be a performer, just stand in front of a crowd of 1,000 people and be happy with how I look. When I look in the mirror, I see a big nose. My stomach is just a lot of loose skin and stretch marks. When I had to move back in with my mom and dad, I just thought to myself, you know, here I am, this 27-year-old single mom that can't make it on her own. And I just felt like the biggest loser.
Were then brought to Los Angeles. They took all their mirrors away, so they had no mirrors for 3 months. Imagine not being able to see yourself for 3 months straight. And during those 3 months, they performed multiple plastic surgeries, often doing a year's worth of procedures in spaces of 2 weeks. Brow lifts, nose jobs, cheek implants, breast augmentations, liposuction, dental work, all of it at the same time on one body.
Team, Amy came to us saying that she felt like a loser. And Dr. Hayworth, she was very cruelly told that she had a face for radio. I mean, what would you say to that today?
Well, all I can say is despite the fact that she underwent a number of very difficult surgical procedures, she today is saying, look at me now.
Dr. Worth, Amy had some major dental issues, didn't she?
Amy's a singer, so her smile is very important to her. When she came to the program, she had severe infection and decay throughout her mouth. So we did a full mouth reconstruction to give her that natural, healthy smile that any singer would be proud of.
The show's fitness trainer, Greg Como, said in a Vice documentary about the show, the biggest thing that would haunt me to this day was, God, I don't want to be the one that's here when somebody dies in my care. The trainer on the show was haunted by the thought that someone could die because the schedule was that aggressive. All of this is done within 3 months. They then allow the women to see themselves in the mirror for the first time, and the cameras are there to capture their reaction. Now, the craziest part is after their big mirror moment, after seeing themselves for the first time, they're then put into a pageant against each other. Okay, this show was a trip, okay? 2 women per episode went through a full body transformation, and at the end of each episode, one of them was eliminated. One of them was told that even after everything they've gone through, physically, mentally, after having their bodies reconstructed from head to toe, they still were not beautiful enough to advance. She lost. She basically lost a beauty pageant after they surgically rebuilt her.
First of all, congratulations, because you've both made such incredible transformations. You should be proud of yourself. But only one of you can move on to the pageant with a chance to be crowned the Swan. Now, along with that title comes cash and prizes worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've been evaluated on beauty, on poise, and of course, overall transformation. This envelope contains the name of the woman who will advance onto the pageant.
Okay.
Good luck to you both. Tonight, the woman that will move on to the pageant is Jennifer Patton.
Congratulations. Jennifer made it to the pageant, I think, because of how committed she was to doing all the work that she could do. She rose to every challenge.
Jennifer made it to the pageant because she worked super hard. I mean, from someone who was hiding to someone who's come out of her shell. I mean, she deserves all the credit in the world.
Will you please stand over there for me while I say goodbye to Kimberly? Oh.
What that message sent to not only her, but to the people watching, is that you can do everything right. You can go through all these procedures and still not be enough. Journalist Jennifer Posner, who wrote the book Reality Bites Back, called The Swan one of the most sadistic reality TV shows of the decade. Not dramatic, not problematic, but sadistic. USA Today called it hurtful and repellent. The feminist scholar Susan J. Douglas wrote about the show in her book, The Rise of the Enlightened Sexism, and she said, the narrow physical standards to which women are expected to conform, the sad degree to which women internalize these standards, and the lengths needed to get there, and the impossibility for most of us to meet the bar without taking a box cutter to our faces and bodies. That is a quote from an academic book about The Swan, the same show that averaged 9.1 million viewers a week, the same show that aired in American households while little girls were watching.
As a child, I was kind of tomboyish. Even on my wedding night, I just never felt sexy. I really saw my body change after I had my children. I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I could pick apart so many features of my body that I don't like. My nose, my thighs are the biggest they've ever been. I never felt real feminine.
Wow. Yeah,
Thank you. You look hot. How are you feeling? I feel so feminine.
One of the Swan's contestants, Belinda Bassett, said something years later that shocked a lot of people. She said they were told that their before pictures, the ones used at the beginning of each episode to show how awful the person looked before, were heavily edited. The pictures were taken to make the women look as bad as possible, she said. Her direct quote stated this: "If you look at my pictures before the show and not the show's before pictures, which made us look as ugly as possible, but the actual picture of me, I had beautiful eyebrows and eyes. They manufactured the ugly. They needed you to look bad enough in the before to justify what they're about to do to you."
They wanted you to look as ugly as you could possibly look.
And contestant Cindy Ago said the following: "I really didn't know that I could say no to some of these procedures being done." So now imagine that a woman who's on a show about her own body was told that she had no say in the matter. This show was literally insane.
Before I pass out, take good care of me.
It's one of the most controversial reality shows of all time, The Swan, where women who were called ugly ducklings went through 3 months of surgery and exercise and then took part in a pageant. Now, 20 years later, we've reunited some of the contestants.
It was the controversial reality show that swept the nation, The Swan. Women went under the knife for dramatic transformations, going from ugly ducklings, that's the phrase the show used, to beautiful swans, all played out on national TV.
Oh my gosh, you guys!
20 years later, only Inside Edition is reuniting these swans.
Hi, Inside Edition. We're the Swans.
Kathy Weber says she appeared on the show because she had low self-esteem and wanted to get a nose job.
What was the reveal like, seeing yourself in the mirror for the first time?
It was like, wow, my outsides match how I feel on the inside, and I feel like a beautiful feminine woman, which I never saw that before.
Kelly Burdick says she was bullied in middle school because of her looks. Her transformation was remarkable.
All I could say was, oh my gosh, and I just got up like really close to the mirror and I'm just like touching my nose.
Tanya Parada was 40 at the time and felt she was looking much older, but she refused to undergo all the procedures that the Swans team of plastic surgeons recommended.
I don't think so. I said no to mini facelift. I said no to a nose job, to having my tatas fixed. I said no to that.
Instead, she agreed to have her nose refined, just a little. She also had a brow lift, liposuction, and a tummy tuck. And veneers, as did all the contestants. After the dramatic transformations, the women went head-to-head against each other in a beauty pageant.
I felt very frustrated about it because we've already made friends and we've been, relying on each other, and then all of a sudden they're going to pit us against each other, not by our choices.
The show stirred a major controversy, particularly over the ugly duckling crack. Hurtful and repellent, bizarre and offensive, said some of the headlines.
I think society was in a different place and wasn't ready for that.
But all the women we spoke to at the 20th reunion say they're glad they participated.
Do you have any regrets?
Oh, no, not for me.
Yeah. No regrets.
Yeah.
During their 3-month makeovers, the women were not allowed to look at the mirror until that final reveal.
Right alongside the Swan earring, we also had Dr. 90210, and this was on the E! Network, and it ran from 2004 until 2008. The show followed the daily lives of Beverly Hills plastic surgeons and their patients.
I want to lipo my pinky toes.
Instead of the new car for graduation, they're now getting a new ring.
I'm male, female, transsexual, and I'm seeking breast augmentation.
Plastic surgery. It's not just for strippers anymore.
I'm man boob. They can suck it out of me.
Where Extreme Makeover and the Swan were about transformation and drama and emotional reveals, Dr. 90210 normalized plastic surgery. It made plastic surgery look routine, ordinary, like something glamorous people just did, like getting your hair blown out, getting your nails done. These were beautiful people in a beautiful city making the decision to enhance themselves. It was presented completely as normal and even aspirational. You watched it and your takeaway was thinking that the women in Beverly Hills are just operating on a different level and that plastic surgery was a part of that level. It made the clinic feel like a spa. So by the time social media arrived, everything that had already happened in American culture, the daytime talk shows that we watched for over a decade, the women who got surgery to become more lovable, more wanted, more worthy of attention than before, we had watched that on television. We had primetime network television do hour-long emotional specials about ordinary people getting extreme surgical transformation and calling it empowerment. We watched shows that called women ugly ducklings and took mirrors and operated on their bodies multiple times in the span of a week, and then made them compete in a pageant to prove their worth.
Swan aired in 2004 and there were only 2 seasons of it, and it's deemed one of the most controversial makeover shows ever for a reason.
Dr. Hayworth, she's had more plastic surgery procedures than any Swan yet.
I think she handled it extremely well, and I think the results speak for themselves.
I think Lori shed as much emotional baggage as Dr. Hayworth helped her shed excess skin.
Swan, there were doctors, therapists, surgeons, all trying to help these women who felt ugly to feel better by changing their appearance. Look, I'm not saying that makeovers won't help someone feel better, but I think that this show really showcased that plastic surgery specifically isn't always the answer to your problem. The show obviously chose very vulnerable women who were already going through really hard times, specifically one woman, Lori, who lost a bunch of weight, lost her husband. She went through all of these catastrophic events and then decided to go on the show and went under approximately $300,000 worth of plastic surgery. What they don't show is how traumatized they were from these surgeries. Like how she said that she was screaming and she wanted her face back. That's how freaked out she was.
We watched Beverly Hills surgeons make it look like a luxury lifestyle choice. So by the time Instagram showed up, the message was already wired in us. Your body is a problem to be solved, and if you can't afford it, you can always, take a shortcut. You can always go somewhere cheap. You can go on Groupon and find you a plastic surgeon, okay? But here's the true tea. The BBL part of the conversation is this. BBLs are one of the fastest growing cosmetic surgeries in the United States and abroad, and it's grown by over 800% since 2011. According to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, the BBL has a mortality rate of 1 in every 3,000 procedures. BBL's mortality rate is 18 times higher than that of a baseline risk for any other cosmetic procedure done in a regulated environment. A study published in a peer-reviewed journal found that 92% of BBL deaths in South Florida, which is called the unofficial BBL capital of America, happened at a high volume at a lot of these budget-friendly clinics where surgeons were performing multiple procedures per day at reduced rates in South Florida. 25 BBL-related embolism deaths happened between 2010 and 2022. 14 of those 25 deaths happened after the safety guidelines had already been issued telling surgeons exactly how to reduce the risk.
This year, more than 60,000 people nationwide will get a cosmetic surgery procedure called a Brazilian butt lift, made popular by celebrities and social media influencers.
They're often called BBLs and actually have the highest death rate among any plastic surgery procedures.
This comes as a Tampa cosmetic surgeon was disciplined this month by the Florida Board of Medicine because his patient died following a Brazilian butt lift procedure.
And for those of y'all who don't know what a fat embolism is, it's basically when fat is injected during the BBL and it gets injected too deeply or near the muscle instead of the subcutaneous layer. They go in too deep and it ends up hitting a blood vessel. And if the fat enters your blood vessel and it travels, it's going to travel to either your lungs, your heart, or your brain. And once it gets to those vital parts, it's going to block the blood flow. And when blood flow is blocked to your lungs or your brain, the damage happens within minutes. And there's no effective emergency treatment to dissolve a fat embolism. Once it's formed and by the time the symptoms are even visible, the window to prevent a catastrophe, the window is closed. At that point, you're going to die. The medical literature says this: fat embolisms can lead to death within minutes, often before the patient can be transferred to an emergency facility, and that's what Elena was up against. This is the biology of what the procedure can do when something goes wrong. Elena was in Lagos, Nigeria, and Rachel was in Ohio. And even though, these women are in two totally different ends of the spectrum. Rachel's a 45-year-old white woman with a TikTok following. She's in her midlife, whereas Elena is like 25. She's young. She's a socialite, an influencer. They both got caught in the same hype. They were both chasing an hourglass shape. They both wanted to feel more comfortable in their bodies. And they both had been living in a culture that told them that not only was this reasonable, but it was an admirable thing to do. Elena was a part of the influencer ecosystem that have turned BBLs into a status, where having it not only done once, but twice means you care about your appearance at a premium level, where the clinic you choose and the results you post are a part of your brand. Rachel was a part of the TikTok community of women in their 40s who are constantly being shown and told to look younger and to compete with younger women. Hence why they're all on TikTok documenting their mommy makeovers and, their glow-ups and everything else. So when you've heard that message for years that your postpartum body is something to be fixed rather than something to be honored, both women unfortunately were living inside of the same conditioning bubble, just different chapters of that bubble. So for generations of young girls who are on social media today, their situation's a lot different from ours. In the 2000s, we had shows, that we had to watch on TV. But with these young girls, it's more presented to them as a personal thing. A BBL influencer is not a TV presenter. She's someone who feels like a friend. She's talking to you directly through the screen, and she's telling you all about her recovery, her results, her confidence, and you're seeing her before and after. You're seeing where she's going from maybe 5,000 followers to 100,000 followers simply because she got her body done. And she's also on the same platform that you're on. So the targeting is way more precise for these teenagers coming up today. And what that does to a lot of teenagers coming up today is that it's starting to build, insecurity in a lot of young girls. The algorithm is ready to serve you hundreds of videos about procedures that could fix anything that you're worried about. And what's really sticking out to me is not just the surgeries, not just the tragedies, but the reactions. Even after Elena lost her life, even after Rachel's husband had to go online and tell the world that his wife was brain dead, there are still people in comment sections saying that they're still going to go through with it anyways, and that even Elena's death is not going to change their mind. And I'm not shocked by this person in the comment section saying that, because if we all remember, after Jackie O died back in September of 2023, Jackie O used to be on Wildin' Out. She was also the baby's mother of DC Young Fly. She died from a BBL procedure.
And former star of Wildin' Out, Jackie O, has died at just 32 years old. The popular comedy sketch series confirmed her death in a social media post Thursday, calling her a talented Wildin' Out family member whose impact will be forever treasured and missed. Miss Jackie O spent 5 seasons on that show, which launched back in 2005 with host Nick Cannon.
And not even a month later, Moniece was online saying that she was still going to go through with her plastic surgery.
It's Moniece Slaughter, and I am so happy. I'm here with Dr. Shaffa and Dr. J, and I cannot wait to tell you all about Renuvion and my upcoming procedure. And I just wanted them to explain, and let's get started. I'm so excited.
Guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about Renuvion and liposuction. What a powerful combination of tools that it is. We had a long talk with her. We talked about the changes that your body goes through during pregnancy. As a mother, this is one of the most common things that we see. And what we said was, honestly, more often than not, patients will benefit from either liposuction with Renuvion or a tummy tuck. But Renuvion has really changed plastic surgery. It has allowed for skin contraction and skin tightening in a way that has saved patients with great skin, like she has, from the bigger surgeries. What's your experience, Dr. J?
I completely agree with Dr. Shaffa. When we first met and I took a look at her tummy, she's one of those borderline tweener patients, in between this and between that. And fortunately, with the Renuvion system, we get such impressive skin tightening results that she actually, in the past, would have had a tummy tuck, but now with Renuvion, the tightening we can get with that system, I think we're gonna knock this out of the park, get that tummy flat. We're gonna get that little flap gone and avoid the big tummy tuck scar from hip to hip. So you guys gotta stay tuned. I think you'll be very impressed with the results. And
With
a
the
lot of you
disappearance,
women,
Dr.
yeah,
J,
the
disappearance.
disappearing
That
act we're
Renuvion
going
is
to
gonna
do.
give us.
Right. And this will be great because I'm sure there's a lot of women out there and guys with possibly this kind of problem. And you may be thinking tummy tuck, and guess what? You might not need it. So that's my opinion.
100%.
I'm excited.
And a lot of people are knocking Moniece for this and saying it's too soon. Jackie O just died. Why would you risk it? But that didn't stop Moniece from making TikToks and, showing her journey, having her doctors there. And that's why I say that, a lot of these influencers, they make it very personal, you know, where you feel like, wow, I too can go through that same procedure. I too can have it done without really thinking of the risk. At this point, we have to be honest about what we're looking at. The truth is this, you don't even have to start off insecure anymore. You can wake up perfectly fine with yourself. By the end of the day, the algorithm has already served you hundreds of videos pointing out flaws that you didn't even know that you had. Right behind it, a solution, a procedure, a transformation, and a promise. And that's why I always say the programming didn't start with the devices. It started a long time ago. The devices just made it louder, faster, and harder to escape. From Jenny Jones to the Swan to Dr. 90210 to what we now see on Instagram and TikTok. It's always been the same message. It's just been repackaged for a new generation. Your body is a problem. There's a procedure. And if you want it, you deserve it. And now we're at a point where people are willing to risk everything, their health, their safety, even their lives, chasing something that was never natural to begin with. So no, this isn't just about plastic surgery. It's not just about BBLs or mommy makeovers. This is about how we were taught to see ourselves and how far people are willing to go to fix something that may have never been broken in the first place. And that's the real tea. So tea sippers, I leave the conversation up to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on both of these stories that went viral this month about these two women dying from their plastic surgery procedure. And do you agree with me that long before social media, we were conditioned and this was normalized to us via television programming? So I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please hit this video with a like. Feel free to share this video. And if you missed my other mini documentaries, make sure you guys check them out. Thank you once again for subscribing, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
The latest news in the streets. Join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.